Teros versus Mortix. Yeah, so I was interested about that because Maid was really focused on that when Blasters were the talk of the town, but really we just don't see Blasters that much in singles anymore. So we've got this Scythe and Gauntlets instead here for this game number 1.
I was really excited about next.
I was too.
So oh well. Going into game number 1, everybody, let's see what we've got here already. Djessir opening up pretty strong. Maid going to be looking for this next opening and jumping in. Not able to get that GCD light. Djessir just going to be missing that with punish.
Yeah, and so you were talking about how there's a little bit of lack of hammer in the single space lately, but it's been coming back slowly but surely ever since kind of got that victory with Teros over in the Summer Royale. And Djessir and Delta in their own respective places have been playing it in EU for this entire time. And look at that backswing of the Nair comes through onto Maid, and Maid is going to be trying to get something started with the Scythe combos here. And general nice punish off that side. So can he get the edge guard? He cannot.
Yeah, no, not quite yet. Maid coming back onto the stage, picking up the gauntlets though, tossing up Djessir, just waiting for maybe a dodge opportunity, and has the right idea with the GC pivot D-Light. Doesn't find the connection though. And now backing off a little bit, that's the stomp into the side of the Hammer Classic. Djessir is looking for it again. You know why? Because he's staying on the ground and just dashing away.
Oh, and Maid trying to get some. Oh, that's actually very interesting where they were just both waiting for the other person to dash jump to go into something, and then Maid was like, okay, I'll just let a recovery rip, but that doesn't actually knock out. Nair and the recovery could have possibly knocked out here, but both players are actually just having trouble closing out this last stock between both of them. Downlight from Djessir, not going to be able to do it too, and this is probably the most damaging first stock of a set that we've seen so far. That neutral light's not even able to knock out either.
Not able to knock out the down air, definitely won't either. The recovery doesn't come back on.
This is comical at this point. They're just kind of like, okay, there, Axe downlight finally knocks out, and Maid kind of recoiling a little bit to that because was really trying to get that knockout himself. And there's a few moments there where I think Maid was just kind of like, wow, really, they didn't do it. And Djessir takes the lead here in game 1.
And Djessir looking for that GC sidelight. Not going to actually come out, though. Maid goes out there for the weapon toss. And now, okay, beautiful stuff. The classic, right? The GC D-Light into the ground pound. Maid keeping himself into the game without taking too much damage. Scythe still in hand. And you already know what Scythe is actually capable of. All you need is that one big opening, that one huge opening. You get that one dodge read, and you can carry people off stage.
Yeah, and so that's a great starter. Gravity cancel downlight, and then uses the active input to bring him back. Uses the Nair, brings him back off stage once again, but Djessir just keeps jumping over Maid's head, and Maid can't get a follow-up after that hit. And then Djessir with 3 Nairs after that sidelight brings Maid immediately into red. And despite all the effort Maid's been trying to go for with these neutral openings, it's just been getting answered by Djessir hitting him with the same amount of moves, and when it's Scythe versus Axe, you just cannot afford that deficit.
Not at all, but jumping out there, able to get the ground pound. Is this going to be the stock? Not quite. Djessir coming back on. Maid not able to fully exploit on that.
Yeah, I wonder what was going through Maid's mind with that dodge there instead of going for the gravity cancel downlight. Doesn't end up getting the edge guard there, but does bring it back to an even amount of damage. And both of these players here are actually running into this situation where they're just having trouble knocking out the other, but Djessir once again takes the lead. And so far, the pattern that I'm noticing is that they both get the last stock red, but Djessir ends up closing out first.
We'll have to see if that pattern continues into the third stock, and if it does, Djessir is not going to be one to complain about that too much. Able to get the side out, going out there, committing super heavily, and you know what? Djessir just wanted that hit. If you connect it, and guess what? You could reverse the situation and you get to come back because of the chase dodge.
Yeah, Maid ended up going really deep out there for an edge guard that seemed like it was almost guaranteed, and Djessir going onto a fresh stock, picks up the Axe, sidelight there comes through. So much of that damage coming from the Axe here in game number 1, but Maid with the down air, goes to the gravity cancel down stick. You could have used the active input there to be able to get the edge guard, and Maid, no, misses the wall, and look at that, goes down, and Djessir, and what could have been an edge guard that would have won the game, makes it back to the stage, and Maid just barely doesn't drift into the wall because of the down air that he went for.
He got a little bit hungry for it, right? He wanted that. He wanted it a little bit too much.
That down stick would have been the highlight of the day, honestly. That was such an awesome attempt right there. We've got, but Maid ends up going down because of that, and Djessir takes game number 1.
So going into game number 2, I'm trying to think about what happened here. There was a bit of a difficulty to close, and I do feel like that is just the reality of Scythe and Gauntlet, isn't it? Because Gauntlet does have to, if you're only connecting sidelights, you have to get a dodge read to get a recovery, and if you're playing Scythe to actually get a KO, I feel like it's really good at, you know, once you do get that dodge read, you get a lot of really early KOs, but as far as consistent KO confirms, a little tough.
It's just a matter of how good you're playing with the weapon at the time, right? And so there's that consistency that comes out from being able to have a weapon like Axe and be like, okay, no matter what happens to me, if I get my neutral one with sidelight, I'm going to get my 30 to 45 damage, and then I can just get that one good hit with his side air, and that's going to knock it out. The trade-off is that if you are just that good on the Scythe, you only need 2 dodge reads to be able to completely eliminate.
And Maid almost had that, right? Maid almost had that. He almost carried him all the way out there and then missed the final signature, which he would have needed to close out that stock. But he is establishing that he is capable of that, and I'm curious to see if it is going to transpire in this upcoming game too.
And I will say that I think Djessir had a definitely definite sigh of relief after the end of that game number 1, where it looked like, despite him taking the first stock every single time, it wasn't like he was convincingly closing out all those stocks the entire time either, and that was Maid's best performance as the game was going on. So if Maid can take basically the momentum that he had before he dropped to missing the wall touch into game number 2, I think we could see him take this next game, and even more so as the set progresses.
Sometimes you connect these side swings and sometimes you don't, right? You just have that kind of a day. Right now, Maid is definitely picking up the pace. Love that way to get an opening. That was awesome. Using the weapon toss to break a little bit of space. Maid hasn't been really going through those.
Yeah, and now Djessir with the hammer, trying to get that nair, catches him on the nair landing, okay, gets the downlight afterwards, weapon throw forces the dodge. Maid does not go for the edge guard though, doesn't even think about doing it unarmed, goes right back to pick up a fresh scythe, and is weapon starving Djessir the rest of the way. This is the biggest lead that we've seen so far, but if Maid's gonna have trouble closing here, Djessir can just pick up an axe, get 2 sidelight nairs, and that could be it. The recovery not knocking out.
Not knocking out quite yet. Holding back onto the ground. Nice anti using the D-Light, but that is the recovery now coming out. Maid knocking Djessir down to the second stock, and that was a pretty confident opening, wasn't it? We've established that, hey, you've got the spacing down, you have the dodge reads down, you have the damage output down as well. Now, will we have the same issue? Can Djessir close this stock?
Doesn't look like it. That edge guard does not come through after that stomp. Cider Djessir threw his weapon a little too prematurely, and now Maid is getting a lot of extra credit. One nair comes through. Cider does not catch the fastfall, and that neutral stick does get punished by sidelight nair. Ground pound backswing. Goes for the weapon throw, forces the dodge, but Maid's got the distance on the gauntlets, and the gravity cancel downlight misspaced. Means that Maid has a second chance for even more damage here on a Djessir's second stock.
He's getting that damage, especially with the neutral light and the weapon toss. Backing up a little bit, the stomp just barely missing. Djessir can't close, and that is the problem right now. Maid is hanging on to this first stock by a thread, and it is carrying a weight. Finally, it's gone. Finally snipping off that thread, but at what cost?
Yeah, that gravity, that hammer neutralite from center stage, having to have enough force to knock out Maid there, and Maid is feeling a lot more comfortable going into this game number 2. Side air hits there, nair hits there as well. Djessir gets the recovery into nair, however, and as we saw in the last game, I mean, if he gets 1 sidelight and then 3 nairs as Maid tries to land through a fastball, they can bring this game back real quick.
Gets that down, waiting, able to space around that D-Light as well, looking for that sidelight. Maid holding onto the ground now, just has control of the stage. Maid has also been in the just in the driver's seat of this entire game so far.
Yeah, neutralite into the gravity cancel, neutralite into recovery, the gravity cancel sidelight. That's brutal. That was amazing. So he gets the drift in on the sidelight, knowing that's going to kick him against the wall, and because the damage was so high, he doesn't get his jumps back, can't make it back to the stage, and he just has to fall slowly down to his demise. What a great edge guard coming out from Maid on that second stock.
Now, what a slow way to suffer before you're inevitably knocked out. And once again, that's the recovery. One of the neutral pickup. Maid is getting so aggressive off stage, and I'm actually just seeing Maid get more comfortable with some of these edge guards too. Maid is playing phenomenal at the moment.
Yeah, I think that Maid didn't let that last game get to heart too much, right? He didn't look at that and being like, okay, I can never go off stage again. He just go, all right, well, what I was doing was working. I just messed up, so I'm going to keep doing it. And now Djessir, with that difficulty to close out stocks on both these heavy weapons, is turning this into an amazing game for Maid, I was about to say, until that gravity cancel sides that completely caught Maid off guard and brought the game back to an even game.
Axe on hand, Maid left with no weapon now. Let's see what the weapon spawn is going to be, and it is the scythe. Maid has been succeeding with the scythe quite a bit, just consistently connecting everything, getting Djessir out there. This is huge. Are you going to get this neutral? Okay.
Sidelight comes through, and the strong hit also hits. All right, Djessir does get back to the stage. Maid was too slow to be able to put out that ground pound, but that down tick was amazing. Double nair, double dare, though. That's a ton of damage, and that downlight will bring Maid into orange right away.
Wait, it's actually totally easy.
Oh, sidelight nair. Oh, that's just it. Taros with the down stick. No way. Djessir popping off. He just hit him.
When you hear that
Taros.
many axe hits connect, you know something has just gone wrong. Something has just gone amiss. Djessir feeling good about that. Maid trying to shake it off by going on the phone frame 1 after the game.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's fighting Taros' bracket, man. I can't.
Oh, that's the fighting game classic. That's like losing a game and then scrolling on your phone.
2 nairs, sidelight nair into nair, and then he gets the down sig. Oh no, I think there was a downlight in there. Yeah, wow. Taros does a lot of damage.
He does a lot of damage, but how did Maid get hit by so many different axe hits?
Trying to hurry up and finish the game when he should have been staying to his game plan the entire time. And I think he's really, well, hopefully he's either recognized that or else Djessir's going to be able to get a 3-0 over Maid, which I think would be an upset, but I don't know.
When you hear that many axe hits connect, something has gone wrong.
For his opponent, it's going very well for Djessir.
Oh, it's fantastic for Djessir at the moment.
And I think the thing that Djessir's getting the most success out of, which is something that you see kind of do a lot in any matchup against any opponent, is that once he gets the sidelight nair, instead of going for that like 3-piece with the gravity cancel downlight or the read with the axe ground pound, Djessir is just jumping up, fast falling, and trying to nair every single landing. That ground pound comes through, and Maid's momentum might be shattered.
Yeah, Djessir's looking unstoppable at the moment. Maid had a lot of momentum going last game, and then that last stock just kind of happened. So the question is, does Maid have what it takes in him to want this enough to be able to take this? Well, we'll just have to see. Gauntlet's on hand, finds the opening with the Neutralite. Getting in there now, what's it going to be?
Sidelight, Nair into Nair. He's been getting so many of these Nairs afterwards, and it's not like it's a true combo follow-up. He's just following Maid up after every single hit and getting so much more damage. And I still feel like Maid is reeling back from that last game loss to where he hasn't found his footing. He goes and dash lands on that side platform, tries to get something started. Another sidelight Nair comes through, and finally a reversal from Maid. Sarah on the scythe picks up the gauntlets, gets to the recovery, and stops himself from being into a 3-stock-to-1 deficit, but it could be 2-to-1 very, very shortly.
Especially
if
when Djessir has that axe on hand. We have just seen the amount of success that it's able to output. The Neutralite connects, holding onto the ground. The second one connects as well. Maid is taking a plethora of damage with punishing that Neutralite, with punishing it yet again. Djessir is pressing buttons at the moment, and some of them are connecting, and when you have a lead, you can just do that.
Yeah, down air bounces off the stage, tries to get a follow-up afterwards. Neutralite does not connect, and that weapon throw comes forward, tosses off the right side of the stage, and that Nair into the end line and Nair from Maid will tack on some damage. And I mean, if you get that one dodge read off stage right now, Mordek's down stick will just take Djessir off the stage and give Maid the lead. But that Neutralite will stop any thought of that happening, and now Maid has to be so much more conservative with what he wants to go for off stage because Djessir has 2 stocks to play with, and he has 1.
Do not forget that this is an elimination side, so this could be potentially Maid's last stock. And Djessir has quite
the neutral spikes. The weapon throw forces the dodge. The dive kick hits Maid, but he does touch the stage.
Touches the stage, but at what cost? Look at how much damage he ended up taking and still just struggling to get off this platform. Djessir is dominating with those the hammer neutral, excuse me, and Maid. Oh, man.
Well, also that side air gets the Nair. I mean, it's not over for Maid yet, right? I mean, like, oh, now it might be. That stomp there comes through. Djessir has so much that he can go for here. Stomp comes through. Sides and connects. Maid's out of there. It's the 2-stock hit. Djessir wins game 3. A huge smile on his face as he avoids getting eliminated by Maid and honestly wins 2 really, really tough game 1 and 2s to the point where the momentum was just too shattered for Maid and he goes out.
Especially after that game 2. That game 2 was tragic for Maid. It was going so well for him. He had everything that he needed to be able to take that, and then that last stock.